Hey guys, welcome to the training on routes management. In this training, we're going to cover how to set up your different routes, how to tie them to your KML if you've set that up, and also covering some of the packing options that we have with DBP. So to get started, first we're going to check out the KML that you created. By this time, you should have watched the KML video from your onboarding training. If you haven't watched that, please go back, rewatch that, and create your KML. That way you can upload it on this page. So on the Manage KML File page, you'll see that we have a default KML shape added here. Let's zoom out so we can see the full shape. It looks like this is the full shape of Colorado. So we have a full route that services the whole state of Colorado. Anytime you upload a map, Google will update the shape on the map. It doesn't reassign customers that you may already have in the system, but it does affect new customers when they register. So if you're uploading a new file, you just click the browse button and then it searches anything you have on your desktop and then just click upload. We do allow uploading KML or KMZ files. Usually we've seen that KMZ formats work a little bit better, but either one works on the system. So once you click on any of the shapes in your map, this one only has one shape. You'll see the route name of Colorado. This is what you're going to use to tie your route name from your KML into any of the route shapes, the route names that you have in DBP. So to do that, we're going to go back to the Create Edit Routes page. So on this, you'll see a bunch of different routes created, and you'll see that this one has this little error message. This just means that there's no area name in this field. So this just means that when customers are registering, they won't be assigned to this route by default. If we scroll down, we'll see that this Friday route is tied to this Colorado area that you have in your KML. Another way to view this is by going to the Display Route KML Issues page. This will show any routes in the system that don't have an area tied to them, and also it'll show any routes in your KML that have an area but don't have a route assigned to them in DBP. So this page is always helpful to reference after you've uploaded a new KML shape. So let's go back to the Create Edit Routes page. We're going to cover some of the features that this section displays. So we've covered the route area name. I'm just going to put Colorado here and click Save. So that way this route will be tied to that Colorado route shape. You'll see this route friendly name. This is what customers will see when they view the front end on their upcoming deliveries page. Sometimes people will title these with the driver's name specifically, so you could put like Fred's route here, things like that, so customers can see, oh, my driver's name is Fred type of thing. The delivery time, this is just a static field that you can use to include in autoresponders and things like that, just letting the customer know what time you normally deliver this route. So if you usually deliver the Friday Colorado route from 4 p.m. through 8 p.m., it doesn't allow the customer to choose a specific delivery time. It just tells them what time you normally drop off that route. So we'll click Save on that. Over on the right-hand side, if you were planning on deleting any of the routes you had created, you can select this select button, like multiples, and just click the delete button at the bottom. Sometimes that's helpful, but most of the time you won't be deleting routes in mass. The suspend option, once you check mark this, it just shows you this pop-up. It just says it'll stop all customers from making any changes on their route. So just be careful when you use that because you do have the option to remove orders from this route. Hidden just means that customers are able to be assigned to this route, but they can't see that they're on this route or place orders on this route. Sometimes this is helpful if you have multiple Friday routes and you're trying to organize customers. You can kind of put them on multiple routes at one time. So that way you can see where they're geocoded on your maps. The delivery day right here, this is how you assign a route to a delivery day. Currently this is assigned to Friday. So once you click Save, it just automatically assigns that route delivery day. The customer section, this just shows how many customers are assigned to this route. The cutoff time is how many days prior to delivery day that customers are able to edit orders. For this route, it's set to 1 day at 11:30 p.m. So customers have up to 1 day at 11:30 p.m. to edit this order. So if we go to a customer's account, you can see the real cutoff time being displayed for these customers. So if we go to upcoming deliveries, this customer is assigned to Friday, Colorado route. You'll see the cutoff time being here is Thursday, April 16th at 11:30 p.m. So this customer has up until this date to edit the order for their Friday the 17th delivery. So we'll go back to that Create Edit Routes page. And then there's the option for more options down below. Enable all customers. This just means that everybody, once you click this button, everybody on this route is marked as active. If you click Disable all customers, it means anybody on this route is marked as inactive. This just means that usually we suggest having routes for customer moved away. So you can kind of manage your customers that may be inactive and don't normally place orders. And you can kind of bulk move them to different routes. So if you have a customer moved away route, you could mark that as disable all customers, just making sure that their accounts are marked as inactive. The customer pop-up message, sometimes this is useful in situations where you need to notify them that their order may be delayed. So you could click the pop-up button, put in a note here saying your order will be delayed. We'll try to make it there by 10 p.m. type of thing. And you can also copy that to all routes if you needed to, but normally this is just for customers who are logging in that are assigned to this Friday, Colorado route. The bag label notes option is also another way to add notes to your bag labels. Sometimes depending on the template that's selected, we do need to update and make sure this note is displaying correctly. So just let us know if you're not seeing this note on your bag labels. Drivers, this is how you assign drivers to a route. If you plan on using our driver app, you will have to assign the drivers in the system in order for them to be able to download those routes. So by doing this, you just choose a default driver and then any available drivers if you have multiple drivers that are going to be making this delivery. Holiday shift, this comes in handy for holidays like Thanksgiving, where it's normally delivered on a Thursday. You can move this route from one day to another. So let's say for this Friday, Colorado route, it's usually on the 17th. We can change that delivery to any day previous or any day as long as it's within that same week in the future. So we can move to the 18th, but we can't move to a week in advance. This may change depending on your start of week, but by default, the start of week is Sunday. So if you wanted to change that back to maybe Tuesday the 14th, again, this is just a test example. The cutoff time, you could change maybe 2 days prior at noon, click add, and then anybody who is assigned who has a delivery on the 17th, their order will be temporarily moved to the 14th. Route vacations. Usually we see this in cases like Christmas where you're not making any deliveries for that week. You can add in a route vacation by selecting that week, and then you want to make sure to check mark delete orders. This comes in handy when you already have deliveries in the system. Maybe customers have recurring orders set up and you want to delete any orders that were previously created. So this is how you would add in those route vacations. Start and end locations. These are for the organized route stops page. So we have a default starting location coming from the company settings page. Usually we see if drivers take their trucks home, you can put in the driver's home address in this section, or you can also put in the starting location as well. So that way the system will automatically make a loop once you're organizing those route stops. So if you've made any changes, just make sure to click the save button on this page. The next page we'll cover is the change assigned routes option. So this is if you're moving customers from one route to another. So let's say we're using the Friday, Colorado route. We're going to click search. So this will search everybody who's assigned to that route. If we check mark a few of them, want to move them from one route to another, you just click their names. At the bottom, you'll see the option to move from one route to another. You can also assign them in addition to another route. So if you wanted the customer to be on 2 routes, maybe a Friday route and a Wednesday route. Just be careful on this page because we do have this unassign from route option. This will remove any customer's orders that they may have on that route. So just be careful when you use this function. There is the option to change temporarily. So maybe you want to move them from one route to a Thursday route temporarily, just kind of updating that for the drivers. We do have that option as well. You can view this page as well for customers that are not assigned any routes. Most of the time you won't have that in the system just because by default, most customers will be assigned to a route once they register for your site. The GPS import-export page, this allows you to export any routes. So you can export all customers that are on the route, only customers with orders on the route. This is generally what we normally see. Select your route at the top, only customers with orders, and then export the GPS file. Usually you may need to download the software in order to be able to import that. So if you do plan on using a device other than the driver app, you may need to use that function. The organized route stops page. This page allows you to move customers in a specific organization. So Friday, Colorado route, let's say we want to view all customers on this route and then move them into a certain order. Right now I only have 2 customers on this route. So if I wanted Hannah to be first, Hannah test to be first, I would move that as stop number 1. Sometimes you may need to lock them into place. If that's the case, you would just click this lock button. So this just means that Hannah test will always be stop 1. And then you can lock Hannah testing as always being in stop 2. This just means that if any new customers are assigned to this route, they will be put at the end of this route. And then you can kind of drag and drop them if you needed to. Just make sure to click the save button after you've locked customers. And make sure you're on the show all option, because if you're only in show this week, customers will only be locked for orders this week. The buttons at the top, the suggest option, this geocodes them based on time. So if you want to click suggest, it'll the system will put these customers in order based on the time it takes to travel there. Or you can do by distance. That's just the miles that it takes to travel. And then you can also do a reverse option. So it'll flip that. On this page, there's this little icon. This is the button that will research their latitude and longitude. If for some reason you need to change this, maybe to be more specific, you can put in a new latitude or longitude, click save, and then it's automatically saved for that customer. If you click the magnifying glass again, it will research for what Google has, so just be careful if you've already changed that option. On this page, there's also the option of moving or reassigning customers to a new route. Again, be careful if you're using that with the unassigned route option, because it will remove customers' orders. The next page to cover is the pickup locations. Sometimes you may not use these, so if you don't plan on using pickup locations, just let us know so we can remove that from your site. Otherwise, the front end will display having the option for pickup. In this section, you'll just add in your pickup locations, add a new pickup location down at the bottom with the address and all of that. And then once it populates up at the top, you'll want to assign it to a route. You can either have a pickup specific route, or you can assign it to a route in the system already. So right now, this Hannah's Place is assigned to the Friday, Colorado route. In the information section, you can fill this out and also include these in autoresponders. So we have tags available for like the host name, instructions for this pickup location if you need to send those out to your pickup customers. So those are kind of handy. There's also the option for the access key. So when you put in an access key, this URL at the bottom will change. So if you wanted only specific customers to register for this pickup, you would just send them this URL so they had access to that. We have the option for admins only, so that just means that only admins can assign customers to this pickup location. Next page to cover is the organized pickup locations option. So this is if you have 2 pickup locations on a specific route. I'm not sure if we have any on this one. Let me go back to pickup locations and assign 2 to the same route. So we'll move this happy place. We'll assign it to this route as well. So if we go to organized pickup locations, choose the Friday, Colorado route, you'll now see Happy Place and Hannah's Place. So if you always wanted to deliver Hannah's Place prior to Happy Place, just change that location, click Save. And again, this shows on the organized route stops page. We've covered the KML file, we've covered the display route KML issues page. The next option is the organized load sheet. So this pop-up just says that in order to do this, you have to go to the default tab first and then choose your current load sheet. So this is helpful. If the first time you're in here, you'll want to organize all of your products at one time. You can do this by either dragging and dropping. Maybe you always want the dairy box to be packed first, Keats box second. This is helpful for your route sheets, bag labels, those kind of things. So that way, maybe you're packing watermelons prior to packing cilantro. You want your heavy items in the box before your herbs. So once you've organized these products, make sure to click the overwrite current. So that way it's updating your current week as well at the same time, so you don't have to reorganize that. And then just click the save option. Another thing on this page, if you've organized by warehouse locations, you can also click to sort in warehouse location. Sometimes those are handy if you're organizing specific products to be in specific warehouse locations. So then once you go to your managed current, right now there's only almonds that are sold this week with a quantity of 3, but normally you'll have more products on this page. Maybe for a specific week you wanted to drag and drop these to be in before a certain other product. On this page, there's also the tab for importing and exporting. So if you wanted to export this, reorganize in an Excel sheet, you could also do that here, and then just make sure you import to be in both, so that way it overwrites. The next page is the print route sheets and print bag labels. These are the exact same page, but if you forget where your bag labels are, we've made a separate section for it. So print route sheets. This is what you're normally going to be doing the day prior to delivery, like after the customer's cutoffs. You can kind of organize your route sheets at that time. So what we normally see is customers will check mark this show only customers with orders for this week and then click show. So by default, the route name will be selected, all your bag labels will be selected, and then deliveries this week. So this week, there's no customers on this route, but if we go back to that test customer, we can add an order just for testing purposes. So we'll just go to browse products, add a few products, add order. And you'll notice at the top of this customer's page, you'll see assigned routes with a drop-down. This just means this customer is assigned to 2 different routes. So if you select Wednesday, you'll see that there's no routes, there's no orders for their Wednesday delivery. So go back to Friday. We now have 2 products in this. If we go to the organized load sheet again, you'll see that this has been updated to show those 2 products as well. So if we wanted the customizable produce box at the top, we can save that in that order. And then we will go back to the print route sheets page. So if we go back to the Friday, Colorado route, again, we're going to click show. This section now shows that there's 1 total delivery. Stop 0 will show all of the customers that are assigned to this route. And then the produce and all of the products will be on the right-hand side with the quantities order. So this customer ordered the customizable produce box and the caprese salad. So this is the total that's included up here. If we have another customer that also orders these products, this top 0 section will also update with their quantities as well. So a lot of times our packers will use the route sheets to pack from, and they'll also be in this produce order. So the customizable produce box, we organize that as the first item on the list, and then that came from the organized load sheet page. You can also download these to Excel, PDF, CSV format, and this is also how you print your bag labels. So if you click the bag label option, by default we have a default template in here, but we do have ways to update this. So I believe there's in your onboarding Basecamp project, there will be another template PDF, so you can choose which labels may suit you the best. So by default, this one is stop number 1. It's on the Friday route, has the customer's address, and then the products that they ordered. And there's also a little label at the bottom. But if you don't like this template, we do have other options available. On this page, there's also ways to print multiple bag labels and multiple route sheets. So if you have multiple Friday routes, you can download all of them at one time. Just keep in mind that when you download them, it may take a little bit to get those orders generated. So you can generate them, export to PDF, and it says it takes up to 1 hour. Usually we see this happen about 5-10 minutes. So just depending on how many customers are assigned to that route. Again, the print bag labels page, that's the exact same page as print route sheets, just in case you forget where that's at. And then the last page to cover is the show invalid addresses. Most of the time we show all addresses are correct because we geocode them based on registration. But if for some reason they would be incorrect, they would show on this page where you can see their latitude and longitude coordinates, and then you can reassign them to a route. That's basically everything for the routes management section. If you have any questions, we can follow up in our Q&A session. Just make sure to finish the homework and assign your area names to your routes. Thank you so much and have a good afternoon.